Hi, my name is Teresa Funke. I'm an author, a speaker, and a writer's coach, back with more tips today to help you move your writing career in the direction that's right for you. Now, today I wanted to talk about something that everybody tells me is actually pretty hard, and that is how to title your book. Today we're going to focus on titling fiction books. We may cover nonfiction books at a different time, but let's stay focused on fiction today because that's actually very difficult. Now, I think one of the reasons why we find writing titles so hard is because of the pressure we put on ourselves. We all know that when we're in a bookstore, what catches our attention first is a great cover and a great title. And if we like those two things, we're going to turn the book over and read the back. Because we're aware of that, we have this pressure on us all the time that our titles have to be perfect. So it helps to understand that there's a term called a working title that you can use while you're working on your book. That means that even in your own mind you're acknowledging the title may change, and it takes some of the pressure off the process. So remember to call it a working title while you're working on it. Now, the other misconception about titles is that the best titles spring out of nowhere, out of our imaginations. We like to think that maybe we're going to wake up one morning and the perfect title is going to present itself. But that's actually very rare, although it can be very fun when it happens. For example, let's say you wake up one morning with a certain word or phrase running through your mind, and it intrigues you. A phrase like, say, the timekeeper's promise. And all of a sudden you're wondering, what does that mean? What is this story? And is it a modern day story or is it fantasy maybe? It's really fun to take those titles and explore the story and see where they may lead you. So it does occasionally happen, but that's actually pretty rare. Most of the time, your best titles are going to come from within the material itself. And they're all going to contain one common element as far as I'm concerned. And that element is intrigue. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But before we do, I want to caution you that your titles should always fit the genre in which you are writing. So if you're writing a romantic story, you want a romantic title like Anna and the French Kiss. If you're writing an action-adventure story, you may want to use suspenseful words in your title or strong action verbs, a title like Running Blind. Now, if you're writing for children, there's a tendency to think, I have to use a simplistic title. After all, these are kids, right? But that's not necessarily true. You still want that concept of intrigue. And so sometimes it's actually fun to use words that are not recognizable to children, but are maybe fun to say. Titles like The Tale of Despero or Esperanza Rising can be very intriguing to children. So don't assume that your children's titles always have to be simplistic. They just have to have that element of intrigue. The best titles lead us to two observations. One, this sounds interesting. And two, I want to learn more. So think of a title like Codename Verity. That one's full of mystery and intrigue because we want to know codename for what and why the word Verity, a very unusual name. A title like Memoirs of a Geisha works because the geisha world was always hidden from the general public. So when we hear the word memoirs, we know we're going to get a behind-the-scenes look at a very private world. A title like Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil has all kinds of questions that pop into our heads. So in order to create intrigue, there are a few things that you could try. The first would be to ask a question in your title. We all remember the title, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Once you hear that title, you always remember it. Why? Because it's so compelling. She's invoking God, and we want to know why. Secondly, it would be an example from a children's book, a picture book even. Remember the bestseller, Mama, Do You Love Me? What child doesn't want to know the answer to that question? And for that matter, what adult doesn't want to know? And it's the adults that buy the books. Now, the next thing you can do to create intrigue might be to use lyrical, very poetic language, but in an unusual manner. So juxtaposing it, so to speak. For example, the title Snow Falling on Cedars is a beautiful image. And you would never know until you read the book that it actually stands in for the hardships of Japanese internment. So it's the juxtaposition between the lyrical and poetic and the hardship that makes it work. Now, you may be tempted to go with a one-word title if you can't think of something else, feeling like that's an easy way out. But one-word titles are actually very difficult. And in my opinion, they work best when, again, the word is unusual and uncommon, intriguing in its own way. Titles like Plainsong or Atonement or Divergent work well. So then you may want to incorporate the names of your characters into your book. This works best, I think, if your character names are dead on perfect and memorable. Take, for example, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Would that have been as perfect a title if it had been Harry Smith and the Sorcerer's Stone? No, so the name is very important. Also, having a name in the title creates a sense of intrigue in that we feel like, I have to know who this person is. Think of the story Angela's Ashes. We bought that book week because we knew someone had died, someone named Angela, and we wanted to know why she had died and why it was so important. So it created a sense of intrigue. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to resist being clever in your titles, being bookish or using big convoluted words or long sentences. You want to be memorable and easily memorable, because when we go into a bookstore or we look up a book on Amazon, we need to be able to remember it the first time we hear it. So think of a great title like Devil in the White City. It sticks in your mind the first time you hear it. For a children's book, it may be Diary of a Wimpy Kid, because what child doesn't take note of the word wimpy? Why? Because none of us want to think we are wimpy, but we secretly fear that maybe we really are. It's a great title, very memorable and easy to remember. So the next thing is that your title is probably going to spring from somewhere within your research or your writing itself. So don't pressure yourself while you're writing to come up with the perfect title, because oftentimes it comes from that great line of dialogue that you wrote, or a really well-written phrase in your own book that you can pull from and make into the title of the book. And on the other side, it might come from the research itself. For example, one of the stories in my short story collection, Dancing in Combat Boots, is titled 3,000 Men. That's a fact, it's a number. Ordinarily, it wouldn't work well in a title. The reason it works here is because the intrigue is to know what 3,000 men and why is it important. Actually, 3,000 men refers to a fact. The artist that I interviewed for the book had sketched 3,000 wounded soldiers in their hospital beds, and that's what the story's about. But it's the number itself that creates the intrigue. So it's going to come from somewhere within your story or your research primarily. Now, it's very uncommon to land on the perfect title on the first try. So even if you think you have the ideal title for your book, I strongly recommend that you come up with at least 5 titles, and then you consider which one is the best choice. Sometimes we're a little too close to the material to be the best judge of the perfect title for our book. Maybe it's based on a personal experience, or it's a title we came up with years ago that we've always wanted to use. In that case, you're better off to take it to your writers group or your trusted readers and ask them, which of these titles would most compel you to buy my book? And make sure that once you have come up with a great title, you do an Amazon search or a Google search, and make sure that that title isn't already in use. Now, there's nothing to prevent you from using a title that is already out there, because titles can't be copyrighted. But think carefully about using a title similar to a book that's popular that already has a title like yours. In that case, maybe you want to change up your title a little bit or shorten it so that it stands out. The more unique your title, the better. And remember that in the end, it's the editor's choice often, or the publishing house, what title finally goes on your book. So always send in your very best title, but understand that in the end you may be asked to compromise or even change your title according to their wishes. So if after hearing this video you're still struggling with the title for your book, maybe you want to consult me as a writer's coach. You're going to find my website listed here. And also, if you enjoyed this video, please like it, forward it, favorite it, and pass it on so that we can help other writers find the perfect titles for their books as well. Thank you and good luck.